If you've ever been fooled on April 1st, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. That's right. It is April Fool's Day. Happy April 1st. Happy new quarter, new month, new week. Still the show where we're going to go ahead and make some money. We got a couple of guests today. Big show planned. Let's see what the market gives us. So let's get started.
Welcome to Benzinga Live Trading.
Let's see if this actually kind of comes back.
Way out of control, got way too high.
All right. Hey, I will take that. I will absolutely take that.
Okay, welcome back. Happy Monday. I got the office assistant behind me trying to do some stuff here. Oh, he's out. All right, we're going to go ahead and get to live trading. You know, I did just hear the guys on pre-market prep finishing up and talking about the NFL draft. Oh man, am I excited to that. Hope to be able to make it out to Detroit for that. And yeah, my Chicago Bears picking number one, going to get Caleb, should be fun. Definitely stick around for that. And I can't wait for that show on Thursday night. But before then, we have to actually get to the market. I've got my main man 13 here. 13, how you doing? How was your Easter?
Oh, it was really good. I had a great time with family and just hanging with my kids, eating some great food. Still hasn't made its way all the way through, and that's just fine with me.
Tell me about it. I had a great weekend as well. 3-day weekend was nice. Got some golf in too, which was really, really great. Good to hear, 13, but we've got another special guest for you here today. Nick is back. Nick, how you doing, man? How was your Easter?
It was good. We had some really good weather here in Pennsylvania, so I was able to get outdoors, take a little walk, enjoy the nice weather, spend some time with family.
What kind of weather did you have out there?
We had 50s and 60s, sunshine.
Ooh, nice. Okay, so we had 40s and 50s here. The really nice day, it warmed up into the high 50s, but it never quite hit 60s. So good on you. Apparently, we're supposed to have some snow this week in Chicago before the weekend, so we'll see if that ends up materializing. But in any case, welcome back, gents. Glad to hear that your weekend was great. Let's go ahead and dive into the market. I can't wait to see what we have on deck here for today. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the SPY. I just kind of want to mention that the pattern that we've kind of been locked into really since we got above this 480 here, really, yeah, right in here. 470 was kind of the start. Once we broke through 480, we've really kind of had this same pattern where we push up, come back in a little bit, and then set new highs. Here we are again. Now, I did notice that the market was up here this morning. It has sold off a little bit into the open. One of the things that I want to see is, does this continue, or is this just kind of a regression back to the mean before we take the next leg up? I did take some calls for this week, some SQQQ calls for this week. So I'm betting the inverse. I'm betting on some downside, very, very short dated calls. Took those at the end of the week. So we'll see if this ends up materializing with the market pulling back here. Now, as far as the SPY goes here, we're actually pulled back from all-time highs, but we are really not that far. I have the high print here in the after hours session at 525.84. So we'll see if we end up setting some of those new highs. 13, what are you seeing here on the SPY here today? I know we've been kind of locked into the same pattern for a while.
Yeah, if we get a repeat of what happens whenever we make new all-time highs, don't close above the previous all-time high. What's supposed to happen as far as the pattern repeating goes is that we're supposed to make a new all-time high the following day, trading day, and then close above that previous all-time high. So today, what we're going to want to see if that pattern repeats is we're going to want to see the price come back and make higher highs than we did on Thursday, and then close above that. If we don't get that, then that's a break of the pattern, which would be the first break of the pattern we've had since the start of the year. So that's what I'm going to be looking for today. Just want to see a new all-time high print and a close above Thursday's all-time high print.
Okay, and we will see if we get any of those. Now, as far as, stocks and ranges and different setups and all of that, not a whole lot going on here. It looks like there's still a little bit of hangover from Easter. Didn't see a whole lot moving around here this morning. I did want to mention real quick, though, that the stream is sponsored by Trade the Pool. So if you need help getting over the 25K threshold, they're your people. If you need more buying power, they can help you with that too. They often give us plays and they help us out here in the chat. So we absolutely love that. And then don't forget that you folks are already a part of the best free live trading community out there. The results are in and they are official. You folks are the absolute best. So take that. Take that. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the movers. If you guys have any stocks that you folks are looking at, both you, Nick, and 13, if you guys have stocks that you're looking at, let's pull them up and take a look here. Adam, Nick, any outlier news or anything that's really on your radar here to kick off Monday?
Yeah, I was going to say this morning we found out that UPS is going to replace FedEx to become the U.S. Postal Service's primary air cargo provider. The news this morning says that the company said on Monday that USPS and UPS are going to be working together as rival FedEx walked away after pressing for a better new contract with the U.S. agency. UPS said the Postal Service award was significant. USPS, remember, is the largest customer for FedEx's air-based express segment. The company has said it was prepared to walk away from the 22-year relationship if the terms of the existing contract set to expire on September 29th did not improve. So we are getting some news regarding that. We had the Sam Bankman-Fried 25-year sentence on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan, we were actually communicating after the show on Friday, and you says that was considerably low.
Yeah, it just felt like that. It felt like with the huge dollar amounts that we were talking, the number of people that had accounts, the number of people that lost money, and then there were comments coming out that the judge didn't have to stay within the guidelines or any of this. Obviously, a highly publicized trial. Definitely seemed a little low. Now, he donates money to a lot of people, so maybe that factors into something. I'll let you folks run with that. But yes, Nick, on the surface, it definitely felt like this could have been a lot longer for him. I'm not rooting for that one way or another. Generally speaking, I don't root for people to fail or be in jail. It's just not juju that I want on my side. But then the other aspect of this, that I never had an FTX account. I've been cautiously optimistic about Bitcoin and some of these other crypto names, and knock on wood, thankfully, I didn't get involved in any of this myself, nor did I tell anyone to get involved with it. So didn't really affect me. And like I was telling you before, it feels like if there's some fraud removed from the market, then the market's cleaned up a little bit more, and I view that as a positive. So that's basically all where I was coming from there. You guys have any thoughts on his sentence? Light, harsh, right where it's supposed to be?
I'd say it's probably on the lighter side. I don't think people that were affected by it are really very happy with the result.
Yes,
I don't think I would be either.
Yeah, and see, I can't put myself in that position. I can't speak to those people, and so that's kind of why I have the opinion that I have. I'm not sure what that does. If there's firsthand experience out there, would love to hear what you folks think. But yeah, that was kind of the news. Real quickly here, just to kind of clean up UPS. This is up about just under 2% here in the pre-market on that news that Nick just gave you. So UPS trading up. Might as well take a look at FedEx here. They are actually trading down by just about 2% here today. So those moves look to be offsetting. Okay, Nick, did you have anything else?
Tesla news just regarding the number of estimates that are coming down for deliveries. We should be getting some auto sales this week, believe it or not. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Ford does, how Tesla does, General Motors, what the state of the car market is right now, just given the prices. We also got this morning that Tesla is cutting, I'm sorry, actually they're lifting their U.S. price of their Model Y by $1,000 here in the United States. The adjustment brings the starting price of a Model Y base variant to $44,990, while the long range and performance variants will now set buyers back $49,990 to $53,490. We also got this morning that Tesla has been added to the tactical ideas list as underweight over Wells Fargo. And Needham actually raises their target price on NVIDIA this morning to $850 from $600. So we have a lot of magnificent stuff going on. And just to close this all out, guys, I don't know if you saw this morning, but in the Wall Street Journal, They actually go on to say the stock market's Magnificent Seven is now the Fab Four, saying that in the first 3 months, Apple fell 11%, Tesla dropped almost 30%, Alphabet finished up by 8% but it was down relatively in the quarter. And the market strategists have dubbed NVIDIA, Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon as the new Fab Four.
Oh, I tell you what, tough crowd. You have one bad month and you are removed from the Mag 7 or whatever the name is for that group of stocks. Tough crowd. It shows you how fast things change in this business. So what have you done for me lately, type thing.
Now, is that money that's leaving those stocks? Do we know where it's going? Is it going into other mag or let's say fabulous fours, or is it going into some of these more beaten up names that are still very good companies that just, have weakness right now? Are they starting to rotate into those? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and actually we've seen some of that, right? Jay Rice, good morning. Hope everything went well last week, by the way, Jay. Happy Easter to you. You had flagged a number of times when it felt like money was rolling out of some of these popular names into other names, whether they're energy names or other even tech names, when we had rotation from some of the Mag 7 into other tech names. Real quickly, just to clean this up too, I saw this in here. I saw it late. I'm sorry. Thinking about it, asked how much money was involved in that UPS contract. Terms are undisclosed, at least from the PR here. So that might take some digging. We might find some of that over the course of time here, but terms undisclosed as of the PR here this morning. Okay. Let's see here. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention there about the Mag 7 maybe kind of coming in a little bit. This is a discussion that we've been having in Happy Hour for some time now. We are still expecting some pretty big IPOs. So I know we talked a lot about Reddit here. The consensus, at least from the group, was that this is likely going lower. There might be a trade to be had to the upside here. Jay did a really good job letting us know when the options were available, the whole 9 yards. But we're actually expecting 2 other IPOs this year that are likely going to be bigger. Discord, which might attract some of the same type of groups, but then also Databricks, which is supposed to be a huge AI backbone. And it'll be interesting to see if some of that money stays on the sidelines and then is deployed into other AI names as they become public. Just something to think about. Okay. Let's go ahead and roll through the move. Actually, but before we move away from this chart, I did see one stock that somebody was asking about. DJAF. You asked about 3M earlier today. So if we take a look at 3M here, you can see this stock down $14 here, 13.5% in the pre-market here. 3M settlement with public water suppliers to address PFAS in the drinking water receives final court approval. This is something that we had talked about a little bit, but I didn't really stay on top of it. Didn't have any position in 3M. I know I feel like there were a couple of traders in our happy hour that were looking at $100 entry on this, if I recall correctly. Stock down here about $92 on the back of this news. You guys have either of you have anything here on 3M?
Nick, you want to start?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's very interesting to see how 3M has been doing ever since the pandemic with the masking and all the different materials. We're kind of in this downslope right now, given the pandemic is, I don't want to declare it over, but we're lessening the masking. We're lessening everything. And so any news catalyst at this point is going to hit 3M particularly hard. It will be interesting to see when they report earnings, what the numbers are, if they're going to be able to beat expectations, and if they give any guidance.
Yeah, so good point there about the earnings. We actually have that unconfirmed for April 23rd, so later this month. Look for that to get confirmed over the next several weeks here, over the next several days or weeks as we get closer to that print. Nick, you bring up a really good point there. What I will say here for the 3M chart, this does look like this has bottomed here. We've taken multiple stabs at trying to break lower here and have really been unable to do it. Even right here today with the sell-off, I mean, let's see what happens when the market actually opens here, but with the sell-off, we're really kind of holding this 91 level. I know we traded down to about 85, but we didn't stay down there very much. I'd be surprised if this breaks. I actually think that this might not be bad for some long side, although I have no position in this myself. So I'll update you if we see it or if any of that changes. One of the things that I'd like to see here is maybe some consolidation at these levels. That would be really good. That would tell me that that bottom is probably in, and maybe we can start making a move back up towards these moving averages. I'm actually sure we're going to have a discussion here on 3M with some of the people that follow it a lot closer than I do. We might have more of an update for you there tomorrow on 3M. DJAF, let me know if that was helpful at all. Would love to know what you're looking at on 3M as well. Go ahead, Joe.
I actually would like to own this at some point. I was aware of them having a lot of forever chemical lawsuits, and that's going to ultimately, have some weakness in the company for some time. But I do agree that this is looks like it's bottoming out, and in order to want to try to own this, my starter entry, I would like it to be at about 85 in case it goes lower. But I think 85 looks like a good starting spot. That just seems like where we could come down to and see if we can test some support there. So that's where I would be looking to enter on this one because I would like to own it. I do think their dividend's great, and over the long term, I think this is still a strong company. They have it's pretty much a big industrial side to a lot of different businesses out there. So I don't think they're going anywhere. They just need to recover from the mess that they're in.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And by the way, if that did break and go to 85, I would probably add some there too, especially small, like you were saying about, getting paid to hold this over the long term, probably a pretty good move there. One more thing here. Let me make sure I quote this correctly. Marie also mentioning here, we didn't talk about this 3M Solventum spinoff. I'm actually not sure what Solventum does. That's not something that I had followed here, but they're saying that this is an effort to strengthen the balance sheet. So that would actually really help with kind of a bounce play from where we're at.
Healthcare business.
Yeah, Marie, confirm that for us. I know you're in healthcare, so you probably have more exposure to this as well. Let us know if we're on the right track there with Solventum. Any information on that is helpful.
It's publicly traded now too. That spinoff, it's SOLV.
Yep, SOLV is that ticker. Yep. Actually, how's that doing here today? I don't have a chart. Yeah, I don't have a chart for it in my broker.
No data.
Okay. Yes, healthcare. Okay, let's move over to the movers tool. Again, if you folks have anything, we'll go ahead and take a look at them. There was some stuff going on here this morning, but I didn't see a whole bunch of catalysts for some of these. First one here is going to be VSTE. This is Vast Renewables. Stock was about $3 last week, popped as high as 13. It's up 270% here. If I take a look at the news, I didn't have anything fresh in this earlier. Still don't. Last thing I have here was a PR from Thursday of last year for earnings. The stock's going wild here today. Does anyone else have anything on VSTE here today? To me, this just seems like kind of a continuation, moving on momentum. I would be very, very careful with this one here today.
It's a very low float stock, 610,000 shares from what I could find. The thing that I'm trying to figure out with this is was this a former SPAC or what was this before that drop that it had in December? So I just haven't, there's a bunch of filings that I'd have to skim through, and I just didn't do that. So I don't know what this was prior to 2024, but had some interesting price action. I really can't seem to tack down quite yet.
Yeah, so keep your eye on this one. I don't have a whole lot on this one. I'm skeptical just given how much it's run here, but clearly making a gap and move here this morning. Okay, next is going to be CXAI, and I'm pretty sure that everyone in the chat here is looking at this one. Looks like Jay Summers is already trading this one here. Parker's Thinkorswim Custom Indicators also looking like you're trading this one here. CX App shares trading higher after the company announced a partnership with Google Cloud for acceleration of the CX AI platform. Well, I'll tell you what, that PR on the surface there reads pretty well. Partnership with Google Cloud to advance their own platform. That sounds pretty good. Stock up 64% here, ticker CX AI.
If you look at this on a daily, we could probably get up to somewhere between 325 and 350. This is looking like if we get up to that area, it's going to want to try and break out. I think that news is pretty significant.
Yeah, it already broke above that here in the after hours. We're above 4.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
On CX. Yeah, no, but you're right. This area right here on the daily chart, this was the area to break. And in fact, last week, as we started to curl up, there were a number of people talking about CXAI last week. We took a look at this daily spot here. This daily spot has fallen here today. So let's see where we end up going. Now, if we take a look inside here, you'll see that we're still this impulse move is still going on. Let's see where this pulls back. I don't have like a pre-market channel that I want to wait to see break and then take the trade here. This is just still continued to move on great volume. So let's see if we get an entry point. Let's go.
$4 to $5. It has a bunch of supply from back in August last year. That would be the zone that it needs to get through next. So I don't know how that's going to trade. Could see a big move through 4 to 5. Could be a while for it to get through. Not sure. But when I look at that consolidation, that's the supply zone it needs to get through in order to go higher than 5. And once we do, then $6 is on the table.
Okay. Next here is going to be MISO. This is one that we traded last week. We talked about this one last week. Looks like this is popping here again, giving us an opportunity this morning. As you can see on the initial impulse move this morning, we actually took out the highs from Thursday. We came back in a little bit, but we've gone to new highs now here, about 626. We look like we're almost filling this gap. I've got this gap fill about $8 right in there. So about another $1.50 here on MISO. We'll see if this gap ends up getting filled. This one wild here, huge numbers. I think that this morning already. Yeah, 1.4 or 1.35 million shares traded already. On average, stock trades 1.7. So we're already almost at the average, and the market hasn't even opened yet. So MESO looks like this is having another day here. Same thing. Want to be kind of tactical on this name. These names that are really extended, I'd obviously much prefer to try and get entry on these on some type of pullback. I'm not trying to jump on this horse early. We'll see where this ends up going. I know we've got just under 2 minutes until the market opens here. A couple more that I just want to roll through here. SGRP, this is SPAR Group. This did pop on a catalyst, but it's given back a lot of those gains. So keep this one on your radar. Wait for it to firm up here. SPAR Group shares trading higher if the company reported Q4 financial results and announced the sale of its interest in South Africa and Brazil for roughly $22 million. So looks like they're selling off some assets there. SPAR Group looks like this is kind of coming back in. Did you have anything on this, or can I roll through some of these other tickers?
No, you pretty much covered it. Go for it.
Yeah. XLO, another one here that was gapping up. This is Xylo Therapeutics. We talked about this one on Thursday. This really didn't give us any opportunity, right? It popped and then it just kind of dropped and faded the rest of the day. We're popping a little bit here in the pre-market. I'd be careful with this one. Its chances are, or there might be a chance that we see volume kind of flow into this and take us higher here and make this actually be tradable. But I don't know. We'll see. Let's wait for that to happen. We definitely seem to have some better targets on our list here. BLDP, Ballard Power Systems. This is one that we've talked about a number of times. It's been on the relative volume scanner. Ballard Systems are trading higher after the company announced the signing of a long-term supply agreement for Solaris for the supply of 1,000 hydrogen fuel cell engines. Now, we talked about some of the hydrogen news affecting some of the other stocks last week. Looks like that's continuing. One of the other ones that we mentioned here, I can't even believe it, but Nikola, that's up again here today. Do with it what you will. Be very, very careful. Okay, we are 20 seconds away. I'm going to flip over to my main workspace here. I'm going to look at the scanner real quick. Also going to put the bird away. Bird's been very, very good this morning.
One thing that I'm going to be watching for to see if the things that were supposed to move and did move on Thursday continue today, as I believe that a lot of people were already on vacation and didn't think to trade when that news came. So probably might see some Thursday movers come back to be Monday movers.
Okay, good point. We are open here. Take a look across the board, see what's going on. Don't see anything. I guess Tesla, first move here out of the gate. Tesla, maybe. Looks like this is trying to trade up. See if it has that strength to get rolling here. By the way, 3M we talked about right there at the beginning. This first move here is down. Let's see how many people this shakes out. 85 was your level there on 3M13. Yep. You might get this breakthrough 90 here. We might go for that one.
Cool. I'll need to make some phone calls later.
Jeremy, good morning. Jeremy's starting his Monday with some Creed out here. So he's getting fired up. Getting fired up. Jeremy's over here getting fired up. Love it. XLO. So looks like, okay, that first move here was a little bit of a bounce. Then we resume the selling. Down we go.
CXAI, VWAP held, going back above 4.
VSTE looking like this is going to try and get going here. Here is CXAI, that 13 mentioned. Looks like we're trying to trade up towards the pre-market high there. I've got that level about 430, by the way.
Looks like ZLO just kind of fell asleep at the open.
XLO?
I'm sorry, that's right, XLO.
Trying to move up there. We'll see if it ends up getting it moving there. OUST being mentioned by Sally. This was one from last week.
Yep. Oh, that's open up.
Yeah, that's ripping right here out of the gate. Look at that. We actually took out the high there from Thursday too.
And pays. So OUST, this was good. This had that impulse move held all day. Now it looks like we're taking the next leg up. Here is pays 13. That also moving out of the gate here. SMR is getting a good move out of the gate as well.
SMR not on my scanner yet, but maybe it should be here. This definitely. Well, let's see what happens at that 6 test there, 13.
And same thing with LUNR, Lunar.
Miso looks like that tried to pop out of the gate and pulled back here. Careful on this one.
Oh, yeah. CXAI had a nice pull right there, back down through 4 and through VWAP, and it's coming down to about 350 now.
Watch DJT. That's the Trump Media and Technology Group. Axios was out with an article this morning. Dan Primack says that they lost over 58 million on just 4.1 million in revenue during 2023. So they say that the TMTG generated less than 1 million in the fourth quarter revenue, a decrease from the 1.07 million in Q3. Now, for context, they point out Twitter generated around 665 million in revenue for the year, leading into its IPO, and 5.2 billion in the final year before Elon Musk's takeover.
Yeah, that's actually that's good context there with the numbers. The one thing that I will say here on DJT, first of all, be careful, because on the daily chart you actually have the back test of this little island formation. We'll see if that holds up or if we break and get a potential gap fill here. The one thing about the fundamental numbers that Nick's reading you there, Nick, you're very accurate with your numbers, so I'm just going to assume that they're correct. Beg your pardon if they're not. The one thing that I will say is that those numbers, that kind of makes a case for this stock going lower. Careful with that, though. Some of these fundamentals don't matter until they matter. We've talked about that a lot. This is one of those stocks that is absolutely possible to trade on any type of momentum. So be careful about that. It's one of the reasons why I don't trade these. Sometimes I can't make sense of it. I feel like the stock should maybe be coming in, but the momentum is taking it higher. It's not a Creed reference, but I'm just kind of throwing it out there. Just be careful. Just know what it is that you're trading. Just know
MESO
what it
is moving, and so is CXAI. And to the chat's point here, yeah, DJT doesn't really trade on fundamentals. It's essentially, if you want to gamble on the presidency, that's how you do it. You either buy or sell or do whatever you want with DJT. That's how you gamble on the presidency, and that's all it is. Yeah, and
I think from just kind of a processed approach, I think there's probably better ways to go about doing that. But to your point, not trading on the presidency, but just trading in general. To your point, that definitely moving on momentum. MESO, speaking of momentum, what a bust here. They initially pulled this thing. That shook out your weekends. This pullback was right down to one of the levels that it bottomed out in the pre-market, and this is going higher. I'm actually going to flip over to trade the pool. I think we've given the market enough time to settle, or at least for myself. So let me get locked and loaded here with the trade the pool software. Sorry about that, guys. See, this is why.
CXAI.
There we go.
CXAI is still trying to chew through that supply that I was pointing out earlier. It's between $4 and $5. So expect some back and forth until we break through that supply zone.
Yeah, and folks, I know we were talking about other stocks there. VSTE is halted. This is a little bit of a late halt call. This has been halted for a few minutes here. This did try to move higher and is so far coming back in, VSTE. Okay. Here is CXAI 13. I'm going to leave this here real quick. I did not have enough time to put my bird away, so let me go do that real quick. Just give me one.
No problem. Another thing I'm looking at, and it doesn't have the greatest volume right now, but VERI is starting to put in a bit of a formation here. So in about 10 to 15 minutes, we'll see what it's got for us. But I'll be looking for a bull pennant or bull flag formation just to build on what is we're getting right now with VERI. So keep an eye on that one. We also have CXAI that is still trying to chew through that overhead supply. Recent high that we've made about 5 minutes ago was 445. Trying to get up to $5 and break through that level. What else do we have moving here that we mentioned earlier? It looks like NKLA is trying to recover, Nicola, from the sell-off out of the open. Getting a mention on CERO. What's going on here with that? Okay, so it's starting to move up after consolidating in pre-market and at the open. For this one has a bit of a way to go in order for it to start running, I think. It needs to get above 375.
Which ticker?
That would be CERO. But this it's starting to get moving. We're seeing a little bit of volume expansion, but it's got a bit of a ways to go to get through some of the supply it put in from Thursday afternoon.
Okay. Catching up here. Amazon, Jay mentioning large cap tech strong again. Amazon new 52-week highs. So I guess my SQQQ call is not going to work out. Which is okay.
The day's not over. The day's not over.
And we took those small and short dated. That was actually more of a hedge than anything else. Main account still up today because of some of that. By the way, how about Micron? I know Micron had, what was it, earnings last week?
They had earnings, yeah.
Yeah, Micron here, another power move out of the gate on Micron.
Yeah, this is the side of the AI cloud play where, obviously NVIDIA is not going to make every single chip that's going to go into these servers. You're going to have other companies making, flash memory and RAM and whatnot. This is one of the leaders, if not the leader, in making that. So they're going to be in a lot of those AI cloud systems. SMR, look at this one go. It's up to 604 now, 605. Volume's not particularly special, but it's just pushing. Still looking for VERI to create that pattern. Sorry.
This VERI, this SMR here, this actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Volume looks pretty good there too.
Yeah. Veritone, I mentioned while you were putting Mr. Bird away. This one looks like it could be forming either a bull pennant or bull flag. I'm just going to waiting for the next 10, 15 minutes for that to give us a better shape, something to look for. So I'm just keeping an eye on this one. I don't think there's a trade there quite yet.
Jay asking CCJ, Ryan, you still in? I actually booked gains on this one. That's a shame. I booked in the 43s. So this is about 2 points higher than that. Probably should have held on to this for a little bit longer, honestly, but I just wanted to get some green in that swing account, free up some cash. I actually still like CCJ. I think that this probably goes higher here. I would consider re-adding this on a pullback.
CXAI trying to push through 450. Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's fine. This is actually slowing down here at that 450 as well.
Yep. That's about halfway through the supply zone it's got to get through, so makes sense. Which is weird to say about the market. Has been making sense for a while.
Okay. Let's roll through some of these other stocks. How is SOLV doing? Okay.
Oh, Sally, thanks for those points. Just mentioning CXAI with the low float and high short interest. Those are some of the boxes we like to see checked. MESO. Wow, look at this thing rip now.
CXAI here, just looking at that, 21% of its float shorted. By the way, Sally, I don't know if you noticed, we did get that updated print on the short interest in Pro, right? So it looks like effective as of March 26th. So we do have new float information there in Pro. Good, nice job mentioning that one. You said MESO?
Yeah, it's absolutely ripping right now.
Yeah, it is ripping to the upside here. Let me get that on here. Boy, I tell you what, that was kind of, that shook right at the open there, right? That just kind of sold off, shook out some of those weak hands. This thing has blasted off since then. Blasted off.
All those weak hands coming back for revenge. I like to think that's how it is sometimes. Oh, I got shaken out. Oh, it's ripping now. I got to get back in.
Yeah, hey, that's that. I've seen graphics of like trader psychology and on how the price moves all the time on FinTwit, and it's like that. It's like when the stock's ripping, you're thinking, "Oh, I can't buy it, I can't buy it, I can't buy it," and then when it's just how it goes sometimes.
Flow charts. Do they have a flow chart for trader mentality? Because that would be awesome.
This miso here, this pullback here, I wonder if this was about to get a halt. How's VSTE doing?
Miso halted again, right?
Oh God, here we go.
I'm sorry, they're not halted. That was just a joke from Thursday.
Yeah, no. It's VSTE here. This is halted. This is halted again. So we've had two downside halts, right? The first one on VSTE was down. This one also down. VSTE looks like that's coming back in. Be careful with that one. We warned at the open on that one. SGRP being mentioned here. Crow, hopefully you had a good weekend and a good Easter there.
CXI is chewing through. So it's still making its way. It's up to 466, so not quite to the $5 level to get through all that consolidation, but it's chewing its way. It's chewing its way.
It sure is.
Pay is still slowly moving up, but the volume seems to be slowing down in this one as well. I'd like to see it get up to 410 and then maybe come back in.
This was Pays.
PAYS. That is correct.
PAYS. Here we go.
Had a nice little open. Oh, there's another push right there. So it had a nice little open, and it's pushing right now as we speak. Let's see if we can get 410.
Happy April 1st, Crow. Stay frosty, my friend. Stay frosty. We don't want to be fooled with any of that shenanigans there. So DJAF mentioning Lily here. Did Lily have some bad news? Let me bring up the Lily chart. We'll go ahead and check Pro here for that news. Lily pulling back out of the open here. One thing to remember here, and Lily, obviously, this has been a huge runner recently. As far as news here today, I don't see anything in here. Cantor Fitzgerald reiterated an overweight, maintained its 815 price target. I don't see any fresh news. Maybe something was squawked. I don't have Charlie on here today. He's not in the morning. Let's see if I missed anything in there real quick.
I'm going to look and see if I can find anything. Well, okay. So with Lily, LLY, I think this may have put in a bit of a topping formation. I want to say possibly head and shoulders, even though it doesn't really look too much like that. It looks more like a triple top, but this, either way, it looks like on the daily LLY is kind of topping out. And
yeah,
we need to come back down to the 50-day SMA.
So real quick here, I didn't see any news on this, anything fresh. This just like 13 saying this might just be trading activity. Well, we've crashed all the way to where we were on March 19th. When I say crash, I say that jokingly.
Yeah, I just think this is more of a technical move.
The Crow must have found all of the eggs with Fireball inside because he's on fire. Becca, good to see you this morning. I'll tell you what, an Easter egg with a shot of Fireball in it. You could convince me to do that. Not bad. Not bad. Let's roll through some of these stocks that we're taking a look at here. CXAI looks like maybe this is kind of slowing down.
I still think it wants to eat through, but it might have some it's still a bit of a hard time getting up to 5, but it still looks like it wants to get up there. So we'll see. I'm not calling this one done yet, even though that last candle in the 5 minute doesn't look great. still has some pretty good volume, it seems.
EVLV, this moving higher here. This looks like this is testing 5. Kalu, good mention here. This over its intraday high from Thursday. CERO, you had mentioned this earlier, 13. I don't know if I got it from a chat person or whatever. This thing is ripping. Huge move off the bottom. Nothing but green candles here. You got that expanded volume that we were looking for there. That is continuing here. This move from 3 to 360 here on volume.
CRO was from the chat. I see 377 as a next target that we're headed up towards. We're going to get that here pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get that here. That is, what is that from the after hours, Thursday's after hour high?
That's it. Yep. That's it. That's what I think we're either going to break through that, or we're going to hit go to the top there and come back in a bit and try to break it again.
Pro looking for a AVTX red to green move here. This one's really spread. Careful on this one. Nice job on Miso, Scott. Nice little warning for you there. Looks like you did a really good job selling that on the impulse move too on Miso.
CXAI still trying to push. It's going to
740. Well, you must have got the dead top. I didn't even see 741 printed there, but in any case, good trade there.
Guys, we actually do have a short report this morning.
What is it?
Jehoshaphat Research is short Doximity, ticker DOCS. This report literally just came out moments ago, and basically in their brief, they say we are short Doximity. We believe this healthcare advertising business is coming under pressure due to a variety of fundamental issues, which we've investigated via forensics accounting analysis, interviews with former employees, and digital marketing agencies, analysis of app activity, review of academic research about Doximity's misrepresentations in its profile network, and other means. We believe Doximity's underlying sales, contrary to the street's expectations for double-digit growth, are declining at a negative 3 to 6% rate, but that this decline has been masked through accelerated revenue recognition. Timing is apt here in advance of the full year 25 guide expected in May, and they go on in this 57-page report that has literally just come out moments ago.
Okay, and Doximity here, volatile on that report. Great call, Nick. Love having you here for the new stuff, my man. Good stuff. This moving down looks like it was volatile a little bit. This actually looking like it's going to try to roll over and go lower here. Ticker DOCS. Jay is saying they're a little bit late with that short, as Doximity was over 100 a few years back. Well, even so, moving here on that news.
Well, now it's never getting back to 100.
Yeah, I don't think so. By the way, Dow at lows, NASDAQ looking like it might pull back off of its initial move. Here is the Qs chart real quick, so we can take a look at that. Looking like this might pull back. That line there was not a resistance area. It was just my mouse cursor. Eli Lilly, which got mentioned earlier here. Eli Lilly, that might just kind of be bouncing off of that impulse move to the downside. Looking around for some other stuff here. Amazon, we talked about earlier. Amazon coming back in a little bit, but still performing better than some of its other Mag 7 names. Netflix just about flat. Apple moving lower here. Apple's still looking to flirt with that 170 level. We talked about that one quite a bit.
A lot of things pulling. MESO pulling, CERO pulling. CXAI is still holding up there, but it's not looking like it's not putting in a great candle at the moment.
Good mention there. MESO pulling back to the VWAP here, looking like it's trying to hold in there. Let me take a look at CXAI real quick as well. Jim mentioning Micron. Micron's still strong here. Micron 120. We got to ask Matt Malley about Micron. He likes this name, I believe.
It could put in some similar moves to NVIDIA. No, I don't think it's going to absolutely be a screamer like NVIDIA, but the fact that there's, they're going to be using a lot of their chips in these AI servers. I think they're going to have a pretty good run.
Meta here, nice move off the open. Parker, good eye. Did anyone mention TSM earlier? Taiwan Semiconductor here. This is another big move off the open here.
EKS mentioned it about 2 minutes ago.
I I don't want to call you this, but you named your YouTube name this. Stupid idiot. I don't think you're stupid. Question here. Was the Vision Pro a total flop? I don't see people talking about it anymore. I kind of view it as a flop, but I think that that's one of those, what do you call it, bleeding edge technologies. Like I think we see the potential, but it needs to be cheaper and perhaps smaller.
I think it's a consumer flop. It might be interesting in a number of commercial and industrial uses. So it might not be completely dead, but I don't think it's going to do well on the consumer side. It might do better on the industrial commercial side.
I could echo that, Ryan. The price is just ridiculous. And
Yeah,
I'm not sure the normal American has that kind of money to spend. Even for a new iPhone upgrade, it is expensive. But we know Apple is being with some lawsuits with the DOJ. We'll see how that shapes up. I know Apple is going to be revealing new, I believe, Macs, iPads coming up in the WWDC conference in June. It's going to be interesting to see the pricing of the model and how they report earnings. Is the China trade still happening in their view? Or are they moving out of China and happening into Vietnam and different India? I know they're trying to move production out of China, but we've recently seen CEO Tim Cook travel to China and reassure that they're not leaving China.
Yeah, a lot going on there. I still think some of that manufacturing is going to slowly move over to India, just as kind of an aside. But you're right there on the Vision Pro. And the thing about the Vision Pro, I mean, wasn't it like $3,500? I mean, that is the same cost as the top of the line MacBook Pro that they offer. It's like I think I'd rather have I don't know. For me, it does seem like a flop. And real quick, Jeremy, okay, we have another League of Legends fans. No, it was not Team Solo Mid. We did not have shades of Double Lift coming out here and carrying everybody. Nope, that's not what it was. Taiwan Semiconductor. Quality stock, though. Quality stock there.
I really like how in his profile picture, he's doing the Yao Ming meme with the half-hearted smile.
Oh, is that? I didn't even realize what that was. But hey, we learn something here every day. We learn something here every day. By the way,
Jeremy,
one of my favorite streamers to watch for League of Legends is Double Lift. That dude is unbelievable. But that's neither here nor there. Let's get back to the market here. CXAI, This is pushing higher here. I just said that felt like this was getting heavy. Nope, we just consolidated and went higher here. 13, bang.
Nope. Chewing its way through that supply. We're almost at 5, and then the next target will be 6. It's looking pretty good.
Looking pretty good here on this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at my scanner in another window that's off screen here, just kind of rolling through some of these names. Look at Pyxis Oncology here, ticker PYXS. Low volume, but this is moving here. VSTE, how's our Halt Fest doing? Looks like this maybe is bottomed. VST, I'm just going to say this one definitely too rich for my blood. I'm not going to trade this one. It's been all over the place. We'll roll through some of the other stocks that we were taking a look at here. BLDP, this moving lower. Miso, this actually broke through its VWAP, so no bounce, at least not yet.
I have $8 from Miso. That's the next target for upside.
SMR, kind of just trading right around its VWAP here. See if this is actually going to push from here.
Any moment now, CXAI might have a nice push through 5. It's just struggling to get up there. Still strong, though.
AVTX got that red-green move that Crow was looking for. Crow thinks there's more going here. AVTX really spread on this name. Careful with this one.
Vero getting a mention.
VERO?
VERU.
VERU, I beg your pardon.
No worries. Not sure what the movement is here, but it did come up. It looked like it has bottomed, and it's starting to come off of that. So I think that's what he might be.
Do you remember, I think a couple of years ago when this popped and it was in like a $6 handle and I had traded it. I traded it for a gain and I had a whole bunch of people in the chat ripping on me because this thing was going to go to 100 and I was stupid for selling it that early. Do any of you remember that? Nick, I think this might have been before your time. 13, you might have been a viewer at that time.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but who's laughing now?
Yeah, I don't know. Can we get that person to come back here and do a mea culpa in the chat? Probably not. I won't hold my breath for something like that. But in any case here, Veru here, 71 cents. This is not on my radar.
Oh, of course, the grow. The root's new root with new highs, because what's a market without root
And
making new
Micron.
highs?
Micron new highs here. Micron continuing to push now above 126 here. Root, this is this thing.
CERO, it has a pretty decent setup here. If we can get a little bit more volume, then this looks like it's going to try for 377 again, maybe higher.
Need that 360 spot to come in here. I'm looking around at some of the bigger stocks, seeing if there's anything I can make sense of. Apple's still at lows. It's holding on to that 170, but gosh, for how long? I don't know. Tesla, by the way, we had a nice little bounce off that initial down move. Tesla coming right back to that pre-market level. Does not have the strength to go above that yet, though. Tesla right at the red-green line. Lynn and Randy, this morning, how you folks doing on Tesla? What do you see here for Tesla? I know that this is your daily watch. Thinking about it says trend line on Micron takes it to 130. Still got a little bit of room there on Micron. Let's take a look at CXAI here. This is continuing to move higher. 5 tests almost certainly coming here on CXAI.
One thing we didn't notice this morning was Henry Cavill decided to be Superman again. That's KAVL. Looks like it's slowed down since then, but that one had a nice move out of the gate. I'd watch for this for the setup, see if it gets that volume back.
All those green bars there ran into some kryptonite at that resistance area and pulling back to support. We'll see what we can do
Watch United Airlines. We're getting reports from CNBC that United is asking pilots to take unpaid time off, citing Boeing's delayed aircraft. United is offering pilots unpaid time off in May and potentially through the summer, the pilots union said. United Pilots Union cited the delayed Boeing deliveries for the update.
Okay, UAL higher here on that news. This chart actually looking pretty decent. I will say, though, from talking to our airline insiders, doesn't really seem like a great trade here for UAL, but it is higher off of this news. Thanks for bringing that to us, Nick.
Ryan, one of the things that I had mentioned in happy hour chat, because we didn't have anything going on Friday except for the PCE report, and so I was making comments on that when it came out. We saw a 0.6% increase in services spending in real PCE, with international travel and air transportation being the largest contributors. We've been talking about how air travel and experiences spending is seeing a rise, and so people are taking vacations still. Remember, we had Lynn and Randy saying they got bumped off that flight that they were on. They got for free. Remember? We're probably going to see an increase in that kind of spending on that side, probably through the summer. It's just a possibility, and that could keep PCE on that metric.
The one thing that was interesting is that Lynn and Randy, of course, former flight attendants, they were getting bumped off of flights because the demand was so strong. But recently, for spring break, there was plenty of open seats. Which I thought was kind of strange. I mean, maybe that'll change. That probably goes back and forth. Anyway, in any case, OUST being mentioned here. This near the highs here on the biggest volume stick of the day. That continuing to trade up here. Sally, make sure you get a register ring there. CGC. So some of those pot names maybe coming off the bottom here. On CGC, Tilray holding up here. All of these charts look the same. Sundial,
CXAI top tick to 498, and then it's coming back in. So almost to $5 got rejected. If we can hold some support between here and $4, I'd say that it's going to give it another shot to try to take out 5. It might be more successful on that next strip up. So watch for that.
A good deal here. I'm just scrolling through some stuff.
I think XLO might be finding a bottom soon. It's just been going down ever since the open, and we're coming up to the after hours low from Thursday. which is about 105. I think if we get down that low, we'll probably see a bounce right there if we don't get one earlier.
Jay mentioned, yeah, CCJ. This is a beast off that upgrade. Awesome stuff here on CCJ. We definitely wish that trade was good right off that 200-day, the entry there in the high 39s. We're now, about 6 points higher than that. That's in relatively short order, too. That's not even been a month here. Really good swing on CCJ. I definitely closed this a little bit earlier here, but once again, the swing's working. The swing's working better than the day trades, at least for me. CCJ, big rip here today. Awesome stuff, Jay.
Speaking of swings, Zim doing really good.
Let's see, Zim coming back here, it looks like. Oh, yeah, Zim, big move here today. Remember, we're above 10 there. 13, we talked about Zim off and on. There were a couple of times we talked about adding under that 10 line. I never did it.
I did.
And I know. That's why I'm bringing it up. I never did it. You did. Probably should have. I will say I am trying to keep this account more for day trading. I sometimes, when I swing stuff, I end up using more of the buying power than I need to. So, but still watching it here. Glad we're still watching Zim. We've been very consistent on this. The story is not over here, despite the stock being volatile. Something to factor into your trade plan here.
Yeah, and I think this is getting a little bit of help with that unfortunate Baltimore Bridge tragedy.
I didn't even think about that.
It might not even be related to Zim in any, or they might not cover those lanes. But I think the fact that just the shipping industry is kind of under pressure right now on multiple fronts is why we're seeing this activity in Zim. But that's just my thought. I don't know if that's completely the case.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense here. By the way, TSM flagging here. Nice little bull flag forming here. We'll see if this goes higher, if this pulls back. Glenn saying watch DJT here. Let me see if there's a potential setup. DJT maybe at that bottom. It could bounce from here. I think if it breaks lower here, you probably should just wait for that to settle, though. Potential move here in DJT. I have no position. I'm looking around at some of the other stocks that are moving here today. God, I tell you what, we talked about this earlier. There are some people that celebrate, or maybe not celebrate, to have a day off today, right? Or I think yeah. Becca, you said it earlier, Cesar Chavez. Did I get that right? There also might be some observance for Easter. There might be, it just feels slow here today, and I'm trying to make sense of it. I guess I'm trying to confirm my bias.
Some school districts around the country still, they give Monday off as well for continuation of the Easter holiday, and maybe some parents that have children in those districts are taking longer vacations as well.
And you're right, Humble Ninja. That's right. Europe is. I was just talking to my friend about this, who lives in the UK. Monday is a bit. In fact, let me see if he's working here today. I could probably do that real quick. But anyway, that Humble Ninja, good mention there. It definitely feels slow here today. Let me see. I know it's probably too early in the morning to get a good volume reading off the SPY, just because we haven't had a whole 8 million shares traded versus 75 million share average. Definitely feels like a slower day here today, especially in some of these bigger names. I'm not seeing some of the moves that I'd want to see. Buddy the cat. Oh man, is he funny? Amazon, unfortunately, pull back off those highs that we talked about earlier. It's only pulled back about $3, but didn't want to see that necessarily.
Look and see if VSTE can get going here again. It's trying to recover, but hasn't quite yet. I need to see some closes over VWAP first.
Yeah, JK is saying, it's a weekday in Sweden, Easter Monday. Cirque du Soleil in Canada, and they're off today. Okay, well, it looks like there definitely seems like there's more it definitely seems like there's a lack of participation.
How's the Swede doing today? How are you today, Joaquin?
VSTE back at that VWAP here. Lululemon looking like this actually might break lower. Let me actually show this to you on a different chart here. This might be one to watch here this week. see if we get a potential trade in this. To your point earlier about people spending more of their income on experiences rather than things, this also might play into that. Oh, I just broke it here. I just went to the wrong. Here we go. Here is your Lululemon chart. Obviously, we've really kind of pulled back from these earnings. Did look like we tried to bounce off this bottom here at what, 486. This actually to me looks like it's going to roll over and maybe try to test lower. If we do break lower here, I could absolutely see us coming into that 364.51. That is going to be the 500-day moving average, which I've dubbed the Joe moving average. That's neither here nor there. Let's see on Lululemon. This bear flag here might take a move lower.
This one, ACN, and I also think AKAM, those three, I know that some folks in happy hour are bullish on. They think that we're going to get an up move, and we might get an up move temporarily, but ultimately I think these are going lower. ACN, Lululemon, and AKAM.
Okay, so let's say that ACN, because we talked about that as a potential move last week. This did bounce pretty clean off that 200-day, but to 13's point, maybe we've slowed down here, and maybe we roll back over and test that. You just said you think you see this going lower here on that, so we'll see if we end up getting that. One more thing I wanted to mention. We were talking a little bit about CCJ. This is another one. I actually took calls in this last week. This is LAC. It took them very, very small. I think I mentioned it the next day that I came on here. There's another lithium play here. This chart on the daily actually looks pretty good to my eye here. Looks like we might want to break out above 750 here. That would be great for my trade. But in addition to that, this is a pretty nice looking chart here on the daily.
CXAI looks like it's trying to get going here and make another attempt for 5. Also, CERO looks like it has a pretty good setup here to try to go after 377 again. This one does. The CER doesn't have the volume right now that CXAI does, but if it starts to come in, we get some more volume. That one I think is going to take another stab at 377.
So this you're hoping for that upside range break there. We'll see if we end up getting that one. CXAI definitely has more of that volume flow, although it is dried up a little bit here. Let's see if it can get above that high. It's going to need volume to get through that spot there. I've got that at what, 4? We didn't actually print 5, did we? We just, no, 498 is the highest print that I have here. So we'll see if we go back up there and test 5. CXAI, this kind of in no man's land here. I'd be looking at this at VWAP or at the high end of the range.
Yeah, CERO just looks like it really wants to take out 375, 377. It really looks like it wants to. It just doesn't have the volume quite yet, but as soon as that comes in, I think it's gonna probably be one of those faster moves.
OUST continuing to move up here. Sally, now we've talked about this one so much that every time I take a look at the stack, I think about you here. This continuing to move up here. Keep it rolling.
Well, looks like things are just kind of waiting to shake out or play out.
You know, Bitcoin sold off early this morning. Was that early this morning or late last night? Let me get a time for you. Yeah, it looks like that was right around midnight.
Well, speaking of coin, that one looks like it could be getting ready to move here.
Yeah, Bitcoin really kind of sold off. It's drifting higher here, but fairly orderly. Let me take a look at coin here, 13. Another decent move here today on Coinbase. Sydney mentioning TCBP. This was a penny stock, wasn't it? Okay, it's back here at this dollar level. TCBP. I don't see anything going on here. Super, super low volume. GCT, this is GigaCloud. I feel like we talk about this one quite a bit here. Nice move here today. $3 move off the bottom here on ticker GCT. Well, I tell you what, this stock, middle of last week, this was $25. This is a 5-point move here in just a couple of days. Nice little move for any of you on GCT. SST being mentioned here. This is not one that I have eyes on this moving up here.
How's the volume been today? Not great. Market's kind of, what's going to be interesting this week is what happens at the Disney annual shareholder meeting when they're supposed to get the results of who's going to end up taking over or who's going to have control. Because it's either going to be Iger's group or can't think of
Nelson
the name right
Peltz,
now. Nelson
Trian
Peltz, yeah.
Partners.
Here we go with coin. That's trying to push and break out to make new intraday highs.
CXAI took the top.
There we go.
Tested 5, just like we said.
Yep.
And then broke through it a little bit and immediately yanked back. It's actually down 40 cents from that area that we just talked about breaking here. So that upside break, man, those don't keep moving. They break them by a little bit and then immediately get yanked back here.
If we can, if it can hold around, 440, or at least stay closing above that, it still could try and go back above 5 and go higher. But it's got to hold some of these levels, maybe even down to 415. But we got to see this pull reverse first. Speaking
of pull and reversal, Reddit here hitting lows. So pounding more lows here today. You take a look at this hourly chart here. I tell you what, right off that 70, this thing did nothing but move down. Jay, you're absolutely right. Hope you trimmed up there. This was a great call by our chat. We had a kind of a bearish outlook on this. There was a green move that took place right after the IPO. A number of you folks were in it, and now we're actually getting that down move that we call. Let's see where this ends up bottoming here. I actually think we could bounce if we come in towards this 44 level. Something to keep your eye on there.
Cero might be making the move here. There's still low volume, but it's the formation starting to resolve.
Indeed, this looking like this is going to try to go higher here. There's some size there right at 350 that it looks like just got taken. Did that disappear, or are you going to get taken?
It looked like it got. Let's take a look at time and sales because that'll give us an idea.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It looks like it got sold.
Okay, yeah. Yep. Nope. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, I think CERO might
they
get going
refilled
here.
it here, and they're hitting it again. Let's see if they're able to take this refresh seller here, 350 CERO.
Man, there's some large orders coming through on time and sales. Large
6,000, 2,000, 2,500. Yeah, no, there's a, well, to your point about them being large, they're larger than the rest of the flow there, 13.
Right. Relative to what it's normally trading is what I was referring to. Absolutely.
Take care of yourself, Jeremy. I know you changed your name here. Take care of yourself at your day job. Nice morning again. Waking up early, getting it done there. This CERO still hitting this 350 here, and I'm actually seeing prints. So it's not fake. They're hitting it, but it's just they're refreshing it, and it doesn't have the volume to get over here. I agree, 13. I think if you take this out, this probably pops. Now, does it come right back in? Do they pull it right after it pops? Probably. That's what we've been seeing here. But this 350 area, clearly a spot, and it's clearly getting hit.
Yeah, 377's the upside target. I don't know if it's going to reverse once it gets there, or if it's going to absolutely break right through it. But that's
here you go. Now we're
find out right now.
Through. Yep. Now we're through. Went as high as 358. Looks like on that move.
Good stuff.
365, your high spot. There's still stock there to be sold, by the way. So we'll see if that ends up falling here. We didn't get that yank back immediately. Here we go. 365 up
to the intraday highs. This is fun. Let's see if we're getting anything recovering here. Looks like CXAI is still trying to, it looks like it wants to push over 5 again.
Sure does.
Looks like XLO may have found a bottom.
By the way, the pullbacks to the VWAP here on CXAI have worked out nicely. They continue to hold up here. Here is CERO still battling with that 365 spot.
Yeah, and CXAI is pushing through 5.
Tesla.
Probably going higher.
Tesla ripping to the lows here. 173. Let's see if we end up breaking out of that.
So now CXAI is trading over 5. See if it can hold it. Probably won't. But yeah, to your point about the VWAP, ever since it opened, you've had you've had at least three opportunities, potentially 5 for VWAP trading, and then trading it to the upside. That's pretty good. And now we're with CXAI. It's now getting to 520. It's at 519 was the high. The next target I have is $6 to $610.
Just rolling through some stuff here. Don't see, the scanner really kind of died down too. I noticed a number of people were mentioning SST earlier. This did kind of ramp on a little bit of expanding volume. Pull back to the VWAP here. I don't see much on this one. BLDP, which we talked about earlier, that's really just kind of flagging in here. Not a whole lot going on. Let me know if you guys, is it just me? I definitely feel like things are just a tad slow here today. Yeah. I'm missing something. I'm happy to look at it though. Let me know.
CXAI ripping now. Parker, you get that fill at 550. That's going to be a register ring from Ryan.
CXI, there's been a number of register rings on this one here this morning. This has continued to push up here.
CERO, looks like we're on the verge of getting 377 here. We're so close. Looks like it's trying to pull again at 365. That's quite the level right now. And CERO.
Wisdom saying, Ryan, it's the holiday hangover. I'll tell you what, I did no drinking on Easter. That was my secret. I just did kind of a rest and recovery day. Definitely enjoyed some whiskey on Saturday night, but Sunday, man, just water and tea and coffee. CCJ, that might have stopped its intraday impulse move there at high at 46.50. This coming back in about 45 and a half bucks. Oh, buddy's in his bed.
Let's see if CXAI can hold 5 now.
Here's another one for you, 13. If you've ever looked into your coffee cup and seen it empty and been like, darn.
When did I drink that?
When did I drink that? I could definitely go for it. Might have to brew myself up another one here when we're off.
All right, CERO, new intraday highs. I doubt it can continue, but we'll see. I could be wrong.
371 is the next sizable spot there with an offer. Jay Hofflinger saying everything is slow due to the after effects of too many chocolate bunnies. Becca saying, Ryan, I know that feeling about the empty coffee cup, all too well. Indeed. I won an opportunity to buy a whiskey for $3,400 US. That must be some type of collectible whiskey. Generally speaking, I stick with my makers. Much more affordable.
You won the whiskey or the opportunity to buy it?
Sounds like you won the opportunity. But by the way, real quick here, NVIDIA kind of rolling over.
Has to be maybe some kind. Is it American or?
I was going to say, guys, we just got some news regarding NVIDIA as you're talking about that. The information is reporting that OpenAI moves to lessen reliance on some NVIDIA hardware.
Oh, I mean,
so this is where I was talking about how AMD and Intel and others that could offer a cheaper alternative would be a good place. So I'd be looking for some of these other alternative semiconductor chip makers, as for some moves at this point.
Okay, I mean, I want to read this entire thing. This is locked behind a paywall, the one from in the newsfeed here. There is one sentence here. First off, NVIDIA chips are likely to populate many of the data centers' server racks. No shocker there. More interestingly is that it's not likely to include NVIDIA's networking cables, which stitch together the AI chip servers and help data flow in and out quickly. Might be the thing behind the thing, potential trade there. Who makes the best cables for all these data centers? Maybe I'm reading too much into that, but that's something to take a look at here. NVIDIA, real quick, that definitely moved lower on that news there, Nick. It not really breaking down, but it certainly moved lower after getting that. Becca's saying, Ryan, maybe Nespresso needs AI. I'm a huge Nespresso fan. Turns out Bex is too here. Line up the pods and have the voice control app. You know what would actually be sweet, though? If I could put a pod in my coffee maker the night before, and then when I turn off my alarm in the morning, like when I actually hit stop alarm, it starts the coffee brewing. That might be something to look into.
Ryan, one thing you could look into for your thing behind the thing idea with the network cabling, look into a company called Belden. Its ticker is B as in boy, D as in dog, C as in car.
Okay, that very, very low volume. This has actually made a kind of a decent run off that 70 handle here.
Mm-hmm.
Let me add this to my watch list in pro. This was a good mention, 13. BDC.
Their description provides signal transmission products to distributors, end users, installers, and original equipment manufacturers. The firm operates in two segments, enterprise solutions and industrial solutions. The enterprise solutions segment is a provider in network infrastructure solutions, as well as cabling and connectivity solutions for commercial audio, video, and security applications. The industrial segment is a provider of high-performance networking components and machine connectivity products that operates in the Americas, EMEA, and APC, and out of APAC, and out of which maximum revenue is from Americas. So data centers here, this would be the company I'd be want to look into.
Add that to our data centers watch list. Like a number of things coming back in.
Guys, watch Disney with ESPN. Liberty Media CEO is currently on CNBC right now making headlines saying that they are still in exclusive negotiating period with ESPN.
Okay.
Do you know what that negotiation entails? Like, what is the whole goal here? To create a partnership with ESPN, or what are they trying to do here with ESPN? I guess I'm just curious because if a deal is made, could Disney end up spinning off ESPN like we think they should be doing? And give it more value when they do spin it up. I'm just kind of wondering, out loud here.
Just looking over, a lot of stuff. Tesla actually continuing to roll over here. So Tesla did end up breaking through that 173.5.
I like how CXAI is getting support from the $5 level. So that resistance is now turned to support. And we're going to be looking for that support to hold if we want to see some more upside. So breakdown to $5 would be bad news in CXAI. Looks like VERU, this was mentioned earlier, still moving slowly, but it looks like it wants to make new intraday highs. Just not sure when or how.
SOL, this is kind of bear flagging here. That's right off the relative volume scanner. SGRP, which we talked about earlier, this seemingly breaking down. IREN, this is one that was moving. How's PAYS doing? PAYS still moving higher here?
Oh, yeah. Looks like we were getting mentions earlier about OUST. That one's still going, but it looks like 919 might be the top for now. Might see some weakness in this one here in the next 15, 20 minutes.
Micron bouncing off that 88 level. Micron continuing higher here. 126 looks like this is going to fall and go higher. Oh my gosh, am I typing? Come on. CXAI, this might be trying to go higher here.
Is market boring you?
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just kidding with you, man. I feel the same way.
Look, and I feel bad. I feel bad. I got nothing going on. I got no trades I feel good about making. I've bought nothing, sold nothing here today. I'm just kind of looking around. Look, some days if it's there, you take it. If it's not, you wait for it to be there. It's just not there for me here today. I'm not seeing setups I feel great about.
I understand.
The volume's pretty poor.
I've only had a couple of trades today. It was CXAI and CERO. That's it. I haven't had to trade anything else since that.
MRVL. This had a nice little breakout last week. This continuing. Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. I told you I needed another cup of coffee. SMR recently started to kind of break out of that flag pattern.
Let me see. I probably should put some levels in here for SMR.
Tesla new lows here. Apple's held in there, but Tesla, man, that's going for new lows.
Oh, I would love for Apple to go lower.
It's really trying at that 170, man. It does not. And here's the thing, 13. We might as well mention this. I feel like we've watched this kind of test 170 quite a bit. Once this thing breaks, I mean, there's a chance that it might just kind of stay beneath 170 for a little bit.
BLDP.
Yeah, we mentioned that one earlier here today. Good morning, by the way, Wes. Hopefully you had a great weekend. This tried to go higher. God. I'm sorry. Like I'm trying to fight it. I'm literally trying to fight it.
Hey, listen, I'm sure everybody's I'm still feeling a little bit tired from this weekend too. It was a nice long weekend. It
was great. I mean, it was great. I had no complaints at all. And I got good sleep last night. Buddy was very kind this morning. Yeah, you were a good boy this morning, weren't you? You didn't wake me up at 2:00 in the morning and then stop me from going back to sleep, which sometimes happens. So I got no complaints. Market just seems a little bit slow here. Top gainer for the S&P is going to be the communication sector, followed by technology and energy. None of them up very much. Energy basically flat up 0.16%.
The communication sector, huh?
I was going to say, guys, talking about Disney, there was an article published this morning on CNBC.com around 5 a.m. saying how Dana Walden could defy critics and become Disney's first female CEO. And basically what this article details is Dana Walden is in the running to be Bob Iger's successor at Disney as Disney CEO, according to people familiar with the matter. If she is chosen, Walden would be the first female CEO of Disney in its 100-year history. She's proven herself as a TV executive, but some former Disney executives question whether her resume is suitable for the top job. More than 20 colleagues and friends spoke with CNBC about her strengths, faults, and the perceived likelihood she will take over for Iger.
I don't know much about her. My thought would be very similar to what you kind of finished up there. To me, I know that this might be some people might not like hearing this. Great if she is in fact the first female CEO at Disney. That's wonderful. For me, I'm hiring a CEO not because they're the first of anything, but because their resume is strong. I'm going to take a back seat on this because I don't know anything about her. I don't want to say anything one way or another, but I would imagine that when you're talking about something like this, we got to start going for best resume, best ability.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We got to stop going for some of these other reasons. If she is in fact, if her resume is solid enough, great, go with it. See, I think some new CEO, new blood, I think that actually might help that company. I know Nelson Peltz has got a list of people that his group wants on the board. I'm not invested in this, so I haven't necessarily kind of looked into each of the people there. How about hiring the one with the best ideas and the best resume? How about that?
I just hope this doesn't turn into another Kathleen Kennedy situation. I think that's about all I need to mention on that. Just if it goes down that road, then I don't see it being a good CEO transition.
Any timeline on that? Do we have any idea when we can expect resolution on that CEO search or the whatever the board's trying to do with?
Well, we do know Disney has I believe a conference day, investor day coming up this week, 4th through, so in just a few days.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, so we're probably going to figure it out here,
and that's when we get the results of the voting to see who's going to take over the board or make the, who's going to win the changes. But yeah, that could actually end up being a sell the news day, regardless of what happens, because the turmoil has lifted Disney stock. If we go to a daily chart in Disney stock, we can see that this has just been going almost straight up off this crazy news. Now, when Wednesday does roll around and the results are in, because of how high the RSI is and how much we've run up over, what I don't think is really anything that's going to change the fundamentals of the company in the near term. I think this is it's going to sell. It could sell off and come back down to under 120 to as low as 115, maybe. That would be my nearest downside target, 115.
Real quick, just a quick look at the daily chart, like you were just saying there, 13. This is why I like the floating island so much. This is why I'm going to keep bringing it up to you when I see it in the charts. Here we go. Pop to the island. We impulse move, back tested the island and held. And guess what? Just running away from that price area here. Bottom of this island here, I've got this at what? 107. Stock is 14 points higher than that.
LYT lit. It's getting some moves here. This was a mention earlier this morning. We got a big move up through the intraday highs, and now we're going higher. Looks like we want to try and get 558, which is where we were in the pre-market early this morning.
Mentioned here on Boeing. Boeing coming back in. Be interested to see what happens at Boeing. 187 and 185.
I want to see 165 in Boeing. That would be probably the best case you can hope for reversing. Is getting down there, just have a decent sell off, get down to 165, turn bears bullish, and have them start buying it up down there. I think that's the level they need to get to in order for it to see more upside. Needs to come down.
SMR kind of rolling over here. Let's see if SMR comes back into the VWAP or maybe moves higher from here. 630 looks to be the spot. I've got some size here at 632.
SMR went all the way up to the 640 level that I have here. It went up to 644, and it's coming back in. If it can hold, it needs to hold right about here, between here and 6. It could see more upside, but if it starts to break down, then I would probably just take it off my screen.
Real quick here, XLO being mentioned. Maybe this did kind of bottom out here. Looking at the RSI and MACD, the histogram did go positive here. Would like to see some more volume, which we're not seeing. The signal lines here pitching up, so looking pretty decent here in terms of the 3-minute chart bottom on XLO. No position. I don't feel great about this though. Tesla, by the way, continuing to test lows here.
What about my ex-girlfriend Hollow? She's a tease. Yeah, she is. That's why I don't talk to her anymore.
Right back down to support on Hollow. Single digits, just like we called that entire time.
Yep. Maybe it'll get volatility another day. I don't know. I'm not worried about this right now. That was just fun for trading and not for owning.
LAC, by the way, this actually looking pretty decent here. That continuing to move up on LAC.
Looks like CXAI is still, it's going to move right now.
Kalu mentioning Veru, that's still in the 70-cent handle here. What was I'm sorry, CXAI, what was?
CXAI, it held 5. It's been holding 5 and looks like it's now getting the upside movement from holding that level. So it's trying to break 540 right now.
541. That's definitely going to be your spot there.
Volume's looking pretty good. We'll see what
540's got some size. We'll see.
CXAI is a new Microsoft. Well, I don't think I agree with that, but I mean, holy crap! If it ended up being a new Microsoft, I think it's got some room to run. Microsoft has been awesome the past 4 years. Ever since the pandemic's been amazing.
Yeah, it sure has.
Well, speaking of Microsoft, guys, we got news this morning that Microsoft is actually going to separate their teams and Office globally amid an antitrust scrutiny. Reuters is reporting that Microsoft will sell its chat and video app teams separately from its Office product globally, 6 months after it unbundled the two products in Europe in a bid to avert a possible EU antitrust fine. The European Commission has been investigating Microsoft's tying of Office and Teams since a 2020 complaint by Salesforce-owned competing workspace messaging app Slack. However, Rival says packaging the products together gives Microsoft an unfair advantage. The company started selling the two products separately in the EU and Switzerland on October 1st of last year.
Okay, I mean, let me ask, who uses Teams?
Schools and work.
Do you use it for school, Nick? Because I mean, that's fair if you do. I'm asking honestly. I don't know the answer.
No, we actually use Google, so Gmail, Chat, and all the Google software.
Yeah, see, we do that too. We use the Google Suite.
Well, we do use Slack though here, Benzinga.
No, of course. And Slack. Let me be honest. Look. Slack is one of my favorite apps. Okay, I absolutely love Slack. Great on mobile, great on Mac, great on PC. I use that for a number of things. Actually, really quick, there's pretty cool integrations you can do with Slack. If you have API knowledge. By the way, Wiss mentioning ticker LYT here. We talked a little bit about that as it started to move. LYT moving higher now. Okay, you use Google at your school. Okay, interesting. Yeah, it seemed the Google Suite seems easy to start up, and everyone seems familiar with it. That whole Teams thing, I don't know. I felt like Teams never really caught, right? It was Zoom and Google Meets. By the way, Tesla continuing to move lower here. So anyone on a Tesla short, that was a good move here. Tesla short ended up working. I didn't take this one here, but man, oh man. Go Roglins. Most government agencies use Teams. Okay, there you go. That would have been some, and then I can understand. Zoom by school, Slack by students, Teams, Salesforce at workplace.
There's a Statista ranking for market share of video conferencing worldwide by 2020 in 2023. Can't really speak on the accuracy of this, but it says that Zoom has a 57% market share of video conferencing, while Teams has about 24.5%.
Okay, so it's double that. And what was it? Okay, so and what was the keyword? This Statista. This is, by the way, 13. Anyone interested in forming your own trade plan? This website can be very, very helpful. This is another website that we've talked about before. What was your prompt or whatever for this?
I just
screen sharing. What was the?
I just looked at video conferencing market share 2023.
Video conferencing market share.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Veru is ripping, by the way, under $1, but it's seeing a huge move.
Up from 71 cents to 76 cents.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trading this and you're in the thousands of shares, it's probably doing really good for you, but that's a big move either way. Cero looks like it's about ready to break and make new all-time highs. Still wants 377.
Sally, you must be having a great day over here. OUST. Just you haven't had to do anything. You've just had to literally breathe air, and the stock just keeps going higher for you. That's awesome. Bring in that cash register.
It looks like Sarah wants to go. It looks like MESO still trying to get up there. CXAI is holding 5 still. XLO still looks like I think that bottom is in it. It looks like it's heading up to here's the thing. It's got to get through some after hours and consolidation. It's right about there right now. So we could see a pretty good move in XLO up to the 200-day SMA on the 5-minute, which is about 130.
I've got that VWAP at 133. It's literally right there.
Yeah, so it's getting pretty close. We might see a pop up to that. I don't know if it'll hold though. It's looking around.
It's Common Sense. Awesome YouTube handle. Wish there was more of that in this world. Actually did usability testing on that topic, conference software comparison. Did you do it? Or is that a fragmented comment that Statista had some? Well, let me know if you did that. I'd love to know just any kind of context around that. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. I'm not necessarily making a trade off of that information, but just kind of thinking about it. All right, folks, I know it's kind of a slow Monday here, but we are going to be sending you over to Trader Bacon in about 20 minutes. You don't have to do anything. I'm going to do all the work for you and just send you over there. In the meantime here, though, we are going to keep trying to find something here. If I don't find anything, I might even just find something to set up for tomorrow. We'll see. You did it. I'd love to know what your thoughts were on that or what your findings were.
All right, looks like Sarah is either going to do it now or come back in.
Right at some size here, a little bit more size above at 381.
And there's a little bit of selling. But this is where it would be for me for CERO, make or break. If it cannot get to and break 377, then this is coming back in, I believe. And it looks like everything's just kind of going sideways or coming back in a little bit right now.
There was a question Beach Mom had in the YouTube section saying, has Microsoft integrated any of the OpenAI ChatGPT stuff into Teams yet?
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question. But what Microsoft has unveiled is Copilot, and it's your everyday AI companion. And what you can do is, right now it's currently free, and there's a pre-trial going on, is you can ask Copilot, and you can get Copilot Pro. What Teams has, or what not even just Teams, but what like the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, what they have started to do is, let me see if I can find it here. You can actually, I believe at some point, say, can you write me something for Word? And you'll be able to do that through Word, through Excel. So they are implementing their own Copilot into software. And pretty soon, I believe it's businesses that use Microsoft. You can actually pay $20 some a month for its new Copilot for Word. And I know many businesses, so like MSNBC, NBC, CNN, and them, they all use Microsoft products, which means that each person is going to have to buy it. Means each person is going to have to buy Copilot or the software for this. It's going to be an extra $20 to $30 a month.
And there's probably going to be some type of enterprise agreement, though, for large companies like the ones that you named. They're good stuff there, Nick. Yeah, Copilot, I guess when they were first talking about it, it sounded like Siri. But I guess if you're getting it to compose documents for you, maybe it's a little bit expanded functionality there.
XLO up 16%. Yep. It's certainly recovering from that bottoming that we saw there around 114, 115. Yeah, it's just things just kind of looking to decide if they want to go higher or not. VERU looks like it wants to go higher, but it doesn't have the volume. I think XLO could still see 130 as it tries to get back up there, but the longer it takes to get up there, the less likely it seems like it will do that with each passing minute.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is just today just kind of seems meh, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
And so we talked a little bit about SQQQ earlier, and I was saying, that looked like maybe that didn't work. And you said, well, the day is still young. And you're right about that, 13. I will say this is SQQQ pretty much back to almost where it closed on the weekend. This was 1046. It's at 1040. But I mean, like, I know it's some movement happened here earlier, but really just not a whole lot going on. The market, SPY really kind of pulled back to where it was pre-market on Thursday as well. Apple still holding lower. Bitcoin beneath 70K on the futures here. 69.5. Looks like that's trying to go lower here on Bitcoin.
Looks like CXAI is starting to get some volume again.
LSF is being mentioned by Crow. I don't think I took a look at that one. Now that's super, super light.
Yeah, I was just mentioning CXAI just because it seems like it's the time and sales are really starting to blow up here. Coke and Lit.
COCH. That is super low volume. LYT, we've seen trade here today. That had a nice little volume pump there.
That one was great. Yeah, I think XLO still has something in the tank, but it's just taking so long to get there. So it's just like, I don't know.
Guys, watch Cocoa futures. They have now reached new intraday high of 10,193 in New York. Apollo's Torsten Slock actually had a post out this morning saying your chocolate is about to become much more expensive. Basically saying that cocoa prices have tripled over the past 6 months, driven by extreme weather in West Africa, crop disease, and associated panic buying.
So that would be a net negative for things like Mondelez, ticker MDLZ. That's lower here. Hershey's would be another one, right? Ticker HSY. That's higher. And here, kind of split.
That's going to compound with the Baltimore bridge collapse because that port ships out a lot of sugar. So seems to me like it's going to be a compounding issue.
Isn't Domino Sugar headquartered there?
I don't know.
I believe the Domino plant is headquartered there. Jay, Coco, oh my God, why are we all over the place? That's what we do here, man. That's what we do.
Still looking like XLO is going to get to that 130. Just don't know what's going to happen when it finally does. We're just 1 penny away.
T Squared asking, has anyone mentioned the April Fool's Day? I'm just going to go ahead and call it there. Post by Elon saying he's taking over Disney. Not worth mentioning. Clearly, that was a joke posted very, very early on April Fool's Day. I will say, though, stay frosty here today. I'm expecting at some point some piece of news that is maybe has a better fake out than this one. This one was kind of, I kind of knew that was April Fool's Day.
Watch, it'll be AI related.
Guys, also watch oil this morning. Prices per barrel are $83.91. That's the highest since October of 23. So commodities are moving higher. Also regarding Disney, I wanted to go back to Disney. Carolyn Everson, the Disney board member, she's actually on CNBC saying that the number one priority is to oversee succession process, looking at several internal and external candidates.
She's currently on right now, by the way.
Yep.
Trade the pool only allows stock trading, no futures in there, but the price of that futures contract can affect other stocks that we actually talked about there.
Going to see if CXAI and CERO are going to break the intraday highs. Maybe not
CERO right up there.
Yeah, but CXAI, man, it's really whipping around. It just actually popped at 550 and came back in.
Those were really the two stocks here to trade today.
Yeah,
honestly.
They certainly have been.
BLDP. That's just kind of holding in here.
Jay's Life, that would be MDLZ. Mondelez, I believe, is the one that manufactures Oreo.
Which one?
He was asking what stocks are cocoa futures.
Oh, yeah, Mondelez.
Yeah.
And we also mentioned Hershey as another one of those examples.
Yeah, there's probably several others that we just aren't mentioning too, but let me see if I can get you some. I think they'd be similar plays with sugar. Nestle could be another one. that ticker. I hope this is the correct ticker. NSRGY. You confirm that for me?
Miso back on the scanner here. That's just flagging at VWAP. BSTE breaking down. Nothing else new lighting up the scanner. SMTC.
You could also try TR for that cocoa play. That's Tootsie Roll Industries.
So Jay, good thing here on the VIX. VIX has been green all day, even when the ES was up 20 plus. So you're taking note of the green VIX. It has been up all day, even right at the open when it traded back in. It still was positive the entire time. Jay, let me ask you, what do you take away from this? One of the things that we've been discussing recently with the VIX is that 12-11 handle is generally a bounce. I think we did get into a 12 handle last week. Yeah, we sure did. 1287, and then on Wednesday we actually 1260. So it looks like we did bounce from that mid 12. What are you taking away from the VIX that you see here? I expect Dash to bounce with the Lowe's partnership move.
Are they going to deliver, tools and lumber and stuff now?
I mean, here's the thing. Like, if I'm just kind of thinking about this, and this might not be what this is about at all. DoorDash adds Lowe's as first home improvement retail partner. Let me tell you something. If it's a Saturday and I'm doing some project around the house and all of a sudden I need another thing of fasteners, I would much rather DoorDash that than stop the entire workflow that I have, go to the hardware store, get what I need, come back and start it up again. I can see that making sense. I try to generally plan my way a little bit better through it, but that's neither here nor there.
Awesome stuff, Parker. Parker's Thinkorswim. He sold CXAI at 550.
Let's do it then.
Nice.
Let's get those cash register rings out here.
Jay Rice saying, "How about Kraft? They make those mini marshmallows that go in your hot cocoa." I mean, you could include General Mills and Heinz Kraft into that. I mean, it's there's some. They probably use chocolate in some of their products. I have no doubt. So that could be another play too. Just not as heavily affected as some of those other ones we were mentioning earlier. But yeah, why not? CX Harbor looks like a CXI or Jay's Life. Are you saying? Okay, yeah, he's saying CXAI. So that one, yeah, I do agree. That one looks like it could hit between 6 and 611 or 610.
Here, let me show you one of the other charts that I'm looking at here on Benzinga Pro. Oops, wrong one. Oh, come on, Ryan. There we go. There we go. Here's your chart here on CXAI. You're looking at this daily chart here, looking for some more upside levels. I think right in here. I don't know what 620. Just kind of by me eyeballing this. What did Jay have there? 608. Mm-hmm. Were you talking about the fib, or are you actually talking about $6.08? 608 to 634. There you go.
I think he's referring to the dollar and cents.
Yeah, that's right in here. Could absolutely see that. Stay focused, my man. Good morning. Hopefully your weekend, your Easter weekend here was great. I actually have made no new trades here today. I've been kind of a bum. The stocks that we have been watching the most in terms of their trading action has been CXAI and CERO. These are just kind of these smaller cap, let's call them junkier names. But this is where the trading action has been here today. Otherwise, seems like a fairly slow day. SPY's kind of rolling over here. Market in general is kind of rolling over here. Really kind of low volume.
Yeah, the two that he mentioned, CXAI and CERO, those are the only two stocks I've been trading today. Did shave a little bit off of Zim when it was up there at 1050. Still have shares in that, so I'm just going to see what happens next. But this is just the thing with Zim. I've just been trading around that position, and that has not changed yet.
It's common sense. I can send an email with the recap of our usability study. Not really any takeaways as an investing perspective, but useful for gauging the ease of use of digital meetings and issues amongst demographics. Common sense. I'm always interested in stuff like that. Yep. I really enjoy reading. So I'll read stuff like that anytime. I do have a number of books on my list here. Yours too, Jay. I'm going to actually be getting to that pretty soon. But there, go ahead and email me that. It's common sense. Would love to read on that.
Yeah, any research or data that anybody that's doing and has a theory to go with it, I'd love to read it and see if there's a trade there. Absolutely.
Yep. Even if it's not, I just, just feeling more up to speed with some of the different offerings out there. Okay, let me go back to trade the pool here. We do have about 6 minutes left before we send you over to Trader Bacon for some more trading action here. And then, of course, we're going to be back at this again tomorrow.
OUST is another good mover this morning. Gave
Happy Monday, Jane. Good to see you again. Ring that cash register. Let's go. Ring it. Ring it up.
Wisdom trading Barrett Gold. Gold's been doing great lately. I guess when we're indebting ourselves with another, what is it, 100 billion or something in 10 days or some ridiculous metric like that. I guess that does make the gold trade more interesting, doesn't it?
Yeah. Wisdom, I'll send you my daily diary. It will make you feel great. All right, man. Hopefully I don't need to go to therapy after that. I'll even pay your therapy bill. Well, maybe I'm covered then, if that's the case. Maybe I'm covered then.
Veru, this penny stock that some of you all want to trade is it looks like if it can find a bottom from this up move here relatively soon, we could try for $1. I mean, it's got to get it blasted up through into this consolidation from Thursday, came back in trading underneath it. Think about it, 74 cents to about like 74 cents even to 75.55. That's about where your consolidation is. You move through that, it could get up to 80 cents.
Miso, this actually looks like this is going to try and go higher here. We'll see.
Yeah, this one looks like it's trying to break VWAP for my VWAP anyway, or get some closes over it. That's those wicks that it keeps putting up there. It doesn't look great, but it looks like it's trying to go higher. So if we start getting closes above VWAP, then I'd be more interested in this. It does look like it could go back up to that pre-market high of 736 though. It wasn't pre-market. That was
Harmeet. Welcome. Harmeet saying, "Hey guys, I just got here and want to ask what happens on this channel every day. Like they recommend stocks. Okay, well, first of all, what happens on this channel every day is we roll through the news and what's moving. We actually do some live trading. And today was not the best example of that, as it was pretty slow here. We never recommend stocks. We are not financial advice. This show is for entertainment and educational purposes only. But we absolutely talk about what our scanner is showing us, how the news affects some of these stocks, and if we find a way to play them, how we can actually play them here. So look forward to having you around here. Hopefully you enjoy yourself.
Yep, and this market seems to have fallen asleep. There's really nothing. I mean, Veru still has that setup, but other than that, I don't really see anything that looks like it's setting up to make a move. Some of these moves are going to be continuous. Some of them are just going to, be one of those moves that just happen suddenly because everybody piles into it at once.
Yeah.
Other than that, not really seeing a whole lot of going. Looks like Lit might be setting up to try it for 6 again.
The one thing here on Lit is we saw, in combination with the only tradable move here today, we saw that volume kind of expand. It has since dried up. So volume here is going to be the ticker on ticker LYT, or the ticket on ticker LYT here, if this is going to continue to move. As far as some of the bigger stocks here, NVIDIA, this really kind of pulling back a little bit. Google, just doing a good job of holding up, probably the strongest of the group here today. Apple, as we mentioned, that moving lower here. This actually did lose its 170.13, so maybe we do come into that 165, 160 area we've been waiting at. Tesla here, this thing has been rocking lows all day, although it looks like it's kind of bottomed out here at 170. We'll see if we get any other type of move here on Tesla. We also took a look at TSM here today. That did hold higher here. No, not Team Solo Mid, but in fact, Taiwan Semiconductor holding higher here. Other than that, that's probably it, right? Netflix is pretty flat. We talked a lot about Disney. Disney here actually a little bit lower on Disney. So, all right.
Talked about airlines. And
talked about airlines. we are going to get rolling here. I am going to go. Oh, we talked about Micron. Good call, Jay. Micron, probably one of the stronger tech names of the J. Thank you for mentioning that one here. Nice little bull flag on Micron as well. So, okay, folks, that's going to be it here for today. Nick and 13, you guys, I cannot thank you enough for spending some more time. Nick, we got you all week, right? You're off.
Yes,
you're off this week.
You got me all week, and then Monday of next week.
All right. So we got all types of breaking news coming up here. Hopefully we get some more action in the market and some of the trades will be a little bit more actionable. We shall see. But stick around. I'm going to send you over to Trader Bacon. You folks don't need to do anything. 13, take care of yourself.
Take care.
Nick, take care of yourself.
Thanks.
We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Take care. Stick around for Trader Bacon. Stay green. Stay safe, everybody.